Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christy, if you didn't know that, and today I'm going to do a kind of different video. So I want to talk about loss and about post-traumatic stress disorder. I might cry in this video, it's a warning, but I felt like I need to voice this, I need to say this, and I need to say it out loud, and not just to people that are around me who are also going through the same thing as I'm going and similar feelings to what I'm going through. I know the lighting isn't great here, but I just want to be able to sit comfortably because it might be a long video. So I'm going to start off with who I lost. I lost my mum. I lost my mum in June 2018, so it's just coming up to a year. So I thought it was a perfect time to talk, to say this. I don't know, I know that everyone loses someone, and there are people out there who don't understand how they're feeling and who don't understand why they're feeling the way they feel and why, like, the feeling's still there. I think people seem to think that when you lose someone, within a few months you just, not that you forget, but you just aren't allowed to still be mourning someone. But that's not true. I feel like for me, I'm missing her more and more, which is the opposite of what people seem to think. For me, losing my mum was the hardest thing I have ever been through in my life. The way I lost my mum was a very traumatic way. I know there is other traumatic ways, but for me this was very traumatic. My mum had cancer. Now is where I'm probably gonna cry, and this part is, you might not want to hear it, I don't know, but I feel like I need to say it. I need to get it out there, I need to say it, and I need to just express how I felt in that situation, as well as what was going on, so that you understand why I felt that way. Okay, so my mum went to the hospital, I believe it was on Tuesday, to be able to have her lung drain put in on the Thursday. She wasn't meant to go in until Thursday, but she was really not very good on the Tuesday, so we convinced her. Anyway, so she went to the hospital, and she was there on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, I went up to see her with my granddad, and I was with her while they scanned her, and basically they said, we can't put a permanent drain because the lung's dying. And hearing that was like, gosh, like, I can't swear, but like, this is gonna happen sooner than we think. Like, that for me was the first moment I realized, like, she can't live without her lungs. And if one is, I could see it on the thing, like I could see them when he was doing the scan, and one of them, he said what happens is they kind of like get solid. So one of them was nearly all black, basically it was all solid. There was a tiny bit that wasn't solid. That's why she was finding it so hard to breathe, and we just thought it was that the liquid was building up again, because that's what happened. When the liquid built up, she found it hard to breathe, but it wasn't. It was so much worse. So I spent the Wednesday there. My mum was basically herself. She, you know, she had her iPad and she was playing her games. For a while before my mum passed away, her iPad was kind of like her escape route, and she would spend hours playing that painting by number game. So like, she was on her iPad and she was chatting, and she wasn't really wanting to eat because whatever she ate she was throwing up, so she was on these little juices, and yeah, but she was herself, you know. She asked me to get into bed with her, and we had a good old cuddle, and I was there with my boys, and my boys got to see her and kiss her and stuff, you know. Mason was only 5 months old. Michael was nearly two at the end of July. he was like 20, I don't think it was quite 23 months, but he was nearly there. And she was the person we had gotten to know, you know, like she was the way she was than that we had gotten used to. But then on the Thursday in the morning, my stepdad called me, who was up there with her, and said they've said it's going to happen soon. They've had to give her high doses of morphine because she was in pain, and she's literally like, it's a waiting game now. So I'm trying to not cry. I want to talk like clearly, but I have a knot in my throat. Okay, so on the Thursday morning when he called me, my uncle then came and picked me and Mason, who is my youngest, who was 5 months old, up. My eldest stayed here with his grandparents, and we headed up to the hospital. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know how bad it was. We got to the hospital. This is gonna make me cry. You might be thinking, why are you putting yourself through this? But I just need to say it. I just need to get it out. If it helps anyone understand their emotions, or if it just helps anyone like know they're not alone and that the feelings are normal, that's what I want. As well as help myself by putting this out there and getting it out of my system, because I hate saying things to people that I love that are going through the same thing, because they're going through it. They don't need to have my emotions on them as well. Anyway, let's try and continue. When I got to the hospital, I walked into my mum's room and I was shocked. My mum was laying there, basically unresponsive, and I walked up to her and said, "Mum, I'm here to see you," and she just kind of tried to tell me that she knew I was there by rolling her eyes. She rolled her eyes, tried to open her eyes to look at me, and that's it. I never heard. Okay, so I never heard my mum's voice again from the day before. That was it. And you know, then and there I knew that was it. I told my uncle he needed to call my grandparents, who had seen her the day before, and tell them to be prepared for the shock, because it really was a huge shock. It really was a massive shock to walk in there and see my mum like that. After seeing her the night before, it didn't take very long for her to go downhill. Anyways, that day was kind of just sitting around, basically watching her breathe. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't talk, obviously. She was just asleep. There was 2 occasions where she did try to get up. One was when I was with her uncle and my stepdad had gone to have a coffee or whatever, and I was there with my mum and I was talking to her, and I put her iPad on with her music on that she liked from church, and my mum like tried to get up and wanted to take her oxygen off, and it was kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Managed to chill her, managed to get her to lay down. The nurses came in and they said it was like an effect from the morphine, and they did have to up the dosage a little bit, because it was kind of like her way of expressing that she was either in pain or something like that. So she then went back to sleep, and after a while my granddad and my nana arrived, and my stepdad, my uncle and myself with Mason decided we would go and have some lunch while they were there with her. So we went and had lunch, and as soon as my lunch was put on my table, my granddad called, or my nana, I can't remember, called and said that my mum was trying to get out of bed and they didn't know what to do. They couldn't get her to stop. So I left Mason with them, with my stepdad and my uncle, and I ran like never before. I just ran, and I ran up 3 flights of stairs. If you know me, I'm not probably the fittest person in the world. I ran like lightning. I got there just as the nurses were coming out, and they'd managed to chill her and to lay her down. But again, they'd had to up her morphine. So now my mum was not moving at all. She was just sleeping, and we were just watching her breathe. So from then on, we just stayed with her and were there watching her, and I decided that I wasn't going to come home. Mason and I were going to stay the night because I couldn't and wouldn't ever forgive myself if I wasn't there and something happened. So we went to the shop across the street. I bought nappies, I bought formula, and Mason and I stayed the night with my uncle, who also decided to stay the night, and my stepdad. We did not do much sleeping at all. I think I slept like 2 hours that night, and it was like, I felt like I had to watch her because I didn't want to fall asleep and her stop breathing and me not realise, you know? I know there was other people with me, but I don't know. It was the longest night of my life. Watching her, just looking at her and telling her it's okay, you can go, we'll be okay. Just go. And you're probably thinking, why did you want her to go? Because I didn't want her to be in pain. I didn't want her to feel like she had to continue fighting after so long for us. And I didn't want her to be suffering anymore. I wanted her to go and be free. The next morning, around 8 o'clock, her doctor came in, and we kind of asked him, like, what do you think? And he said, well, to be honest, the only thing that's now keeping her alive is the center of her brain, which is what controls your breathing and your heartbeat. And as soon as that stops, that will be it. But it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 3 days. They didn't know when. So at this point, we were waiting for my auntie to arrive with a family friend, and then my nana and granddad to arrive. So my auntie and the family friend arrived, and we were waiting for my nana and granddad to arrive. They had a plan to go to the shop to get some water and some fruit and stuff to bring up to the room for us all to snack on, because obviously we still have to eat and drink. And as soon as my auntie had arrived, within minutes, that was it. My mum stopped breathing. And we were waiting because during the night she was having episodes where she would take a deep breath and then wait, and we would be like, is this it? And then she'd breathe. We kind of just all waited, and I was like, that's it, she's gone. And everyone was kind of like, no, yeah, no. We were kind of like double guessing, I suppose, second guessing. And she had gone. So I called my nana and I said, don't go to the shop, you need to come upstairs right now, you need to come now. I kind of like, she obviously knew, but I didn't want to say it over the phone. And that was it. She was gone. Not a day goes by that I don't miss her and wish I could kiss her and smell her and just hear her voice. So 22nd of June 2018, my beautiful, amazing, courageous, strong, independent, loving, and most like just selfless person in the world passed away. She went up to heaven to reunite with so many loved ones and friends of hers, and that was her. So now I'm going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't know that anyone could have this. Like, it's really close-minded of me, but I just thought only people that had been in the war, because that's kind of what you hear. So when I went to my doctor and explained how I was feeling, he suspected that it was post-traumatic stress disorder. And I went home and I looked it up because I was kind of like, I don't know. I know it's not depression. I mean, I've had depression in the past, but I knew that wasn't what it was. So I looked up what symptoms post-traumatic stress disorder has, and I was surprised that I literally covered 90% of the symptoms. And my main symptom is flashbacks and nightmares. There's not a night that goes by that I don't dream about the day my mum passed away. About sitting there and watching her, and literally you just sit there powerless, watching and waiting for that person to take the last breath. And that is something that I'm hoping won't haunt me forever. But I think it will. Like right now, that's how I feel. I feel like it will. So yeah, I went to the doctors the other day again for a little follow-up to see how I was doing, and he said it is post-traumatic stress disorder, which I kind of had already figured from what he'd said the time before and from how I've been feeling, and now I've read up on it and now I know more about it. I do have, like, people from the outside might see me and they're like, she's happy and bubbly, and that's me, but I'm not always happy and bubbly, and I have bad moments. I have moments where I'm angry at the whole world, and I don't care who you are, I'm just angry with you. And poor Miguel, who is my partner, has been probably the main aim of my anger, like as in the target. Luckily I've been able to kind of grit my teeth when I get angry and the boys are with me, because it's not their fault. None of this is Miguel's fault, but like, they don't know what's going on, you know. Michael still talks about Nana, and he's not even 3 yet, and he still says goodnight to her photo every single night and tells her what he's been up to. And if he's been naughty that day or he's done something he shouldn't, he tells her. And I don't want him to see me angry. So I kind of try and I grit my teeth a lot. And poor Miguel does take the majority of my angry moments. And I'm sorry, baby. I really am sorry. But they do say it, don't they? You hurt the people you love the most. And he has been amazing. So I do have a lot of moments where I'm angry. I have a lot of moments where I just don't want to do today. I just want to wake up and go back to sleep. I don't want to have to get up and get dressed and get my kids dressed and take my kid to school and look after my other kid while one's at school. I want to just pretend like the world doesn't exist. I don't sleep well because A, my kid wakes up a lot, and B, one of my kids wakes up a lot, and B, I dream and I have nightmares every single night since the day my mum passed away. So something else that I also kind of have linked my doctor has linked it to post-traumatic stress disorders, where everyone around me kind of had their crash, to say, after my mum's death. And everyone around me was expecting for me to have it, and I didn't have it. I was kind of, for a little while, I was numb to the whole situation. Like, I didn't accept it, so I pretended, like, I didn't pretend it hadn't happened. I cried every day, and I missed her every day, and I talked about it every day. But I was numb. There was no feeling. Like, I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad. I was sad, but like, it was really hard for me. I cried a lot, and which is normal. But I kind of, I don't know, and now that's stopped, and kind of now I'm really irritated. I'm like angered really easily by things. I'm very sensitive to certain things, like my children. Obviously every mother is sensitive, but I've gone to the point where I don't want anyone to like take my kids anywhere, because I want to be with them, because I don't want something to happen to me and my kids not be with me, in a sense, like me not be able to kiss them for the last time or tell them I love them for the last time. I don't want something to happen to them and me not be there to look after them, to save them, to protect them. And that's been really hard, because my eldest started nursery in September, and I don't even think Miguel knows this, but every single day after I dropped him off at nursery, I would cry. Like, I would cry non-stop, because I was sending my kid to someone else, to a complete stranger, for 4 hours 3 times a week. I would cry like a baby, because I was scared that something was going to happen to him and I wouldn't be able to protect him, or that something would happen to me and he'd never see me again. And that is something that is really hard to live with, because I don't want to be overbearing to him. I don't want to be... I'm getting better. I'm trying to let myself do things. Like today I went and took Michael to school, and I left Mason with Miguel's parents. And that might sound like the easiest thing, but to me, it is really hard. Really hard. I was like, they're gonna give him food. What if he chokes? I'm not that. You know, stupid things go through my mind. I get really jumpy. I feel like people follow me. I don't know. These are all feelings. Like, do you have post-traumatic stress disorder? Do you feel any of these things? How do you deal with these things? Is a question I have. I'm trying to get through this. I know that I will get through this. I know that I have a lot of support around me, and I probably don't tell these people. I don't think I've told anyone in my family that my doctor has diagnosed post-traumatic disorder. I don't think I've said it to anyone. So, sorry. Whoever's watching this, you now know. I'm hoping these feelings will go away one day, and I'll be able to remember my mum by only the good and not remember the bad, because right now, where I have these nightmares every single night, it's really hard. I try to talk to her, and I try to, which is normal. You should talk to the people, you know, you should talk to them. If you've lost a loved one, talk to them. Tell them how you're feeling today. Ask them how they're feeling today. You know, like, you may not get a direct answer, but they are listening. And they are there with you every single step of the way. And I know this because there has been times where I've gone through one of my episodes of getting really angry and really irrational towards Miguel, and I suddenly just feel overcome with peace, and I know that is my mum. And now I'm just probably boring you, but anyway, I'm gonna end this video now. I'm glad I kind of kept it together a bit better. I don't know if any of this made sense whatsoever. I'm literally just sat here and decided I'm gonna just do this. I need to just do it. Hence clothes on the back of my chair, bed being unmade, there's a nappy and wipes there. Like, I just had to do it, and I was making most of my children being asleep to do it. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or you have any tips on getting through these feelings and these emotions and thoughts, I would appreciate it. And I hope that you come back and watch any of my other videos. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.